Hey everyone, this is Katerina, Leah, and Becky today. We are having a presentation today by Leah and Becky. They created a podcast called Local Elevation in the Hilton Head Bluffton area where they highlight certain businesses to let the community know about what these businesses are doing in the area and how they can benefit you. So Leah and Becky are going to tell us about how you can get on the podcast, what to expect, and answer all those questions. We also have Barry with us, who's already been a guest on the podcast himself, so he can certainly describe his experience with that. So ladies, I'll let you take over.
Go ahead, Becky.
Oh, I was going to say I don't want to. I think I'd like Leah to talk first because it's actually the podcast came out of her excitement to want to talk to more business owners. And when Leah came to me and said she was thinking about a podcast, she had remembered that I had mentioned something about it as well. So we sat down and we decided to come up with a podcast discussion. We do a lot of networking businesses, small businesses here in Bluffton, and we can get, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, sometimes, 30 minutes to talk to our networking group about our businesses. But we hear what they do, but we wanted to take that spotlight to another level. We wanted to elevate the networking one-on-one, to be able to sit down and have a conversation about a passion topic or maybe a topic that's relevant within the industry that a small business owner is working with, to be able to hear them, how they're developing their businesses, what drives them, and maybe to not just connect with the community that we serve, but maybe help, budding entrepreneurs or give business owners to say maybe, that's a partner they want to go sit down and talk with. Because we have so many networking groups, I think people are a member of each one of them, and which is great, but sometimes they don't intermingle. So you have business owners that don't get to know each other either. So we just really wanted to strengthen the community, by giving them the opportunity to meet them. And I'm loving it. I'll let Leah chime in on what she thinks about what we're doing, but it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm grabbing my computer charger because I didn't realize how low my battery was. But but yeah, so Becky covered a lot of what local elevation is about. Something that I'd like to add though is I would like to just give the opportunity for small businesses in the area that might not have an opportunity or the budget currently to market themselves, to have a chance to share their story about themselves and about their business. And yeah, so I just really excited about spreading the word about the work that they're doing and just more about them as a person and what impact they have on the community. So
I think that's great because I think that's why Leah and I are enjoying working together so well, because we've taken that passion, and in doing this, we're actually bringing in strategic partners. We started this off with an idea between four of us, and each of us have a different, business per se, but because we all come from diverse backgrounds, it lends that kind of feeling to it too. You get to sit down and talk to friends, and we're learning too. But Dr. Jennifer Campa, she is a chiropractor. She's going to be a consultant, but I'll let everybody meet her and hear about her story. She's phenomenal and fantastic, and I love her. And then we have Rebecca Welch, who is with Soul Freedom Marketing, and she is an awesome young lady too. Real entrepreneurial spirit amongst all of us. And, I'll ask Barry, how your experience was. We had the honor to sit down with him. I got to interview Barry and talk about his subjects, which I find fascinating. So, we're new and we're learning. Like I said, those strategic partners that we're pulling in, just met with a young man who's got some podcast experience. He's also a business coach, so he's helping us to really, really put together a business plan for this, because we have some dreams on where we want to bring this, and help others strengthen their communities, small business groups and things like that. So Barry, what do you think? How was your experience with us?
It was great. I had a lot of fun.
Good. I did too. I really did.
And sorry, Leah wasn't able to be there
No.
yet. It still worked out very well. No, I've done probably been a guest on probably a dozen podcasts, and about half of those were people that were just starting out with their podcasting and getting their message out. And I have to say, not only was doing the podcast with Becky the most fun, I think she asked me, the conversation was such that it got my message out better than most people have the ability to. And had I not known you guys and known both of you and known that this was something new, I would have never thought that you weren't, Becky, well seasoned in doing a podcast interview.
That is
So
very,
it's and I
you
just
humble me. Thank you very much.
no, it was fun. The conversation flowed. I mean, yes, we'd gone back and forth on me giving you some information, but it was obvious that you spent some time preparing for it. I mean, I've been on interviews where like the person doing the podcast, in the 5 minutes before we start is learning about who I am and what I do. And and it showed in the results. So
Well,
yeah,
thank you.
it
That's
was,
very kind.
you guys are, yeah, and you're doing something very great for the community.
Yeah.
So, and I can't wait to get on and continue our conversation. I had fun.
Barry, can I ask you, what made it fun for you? What separated that from everybody else?
Well, part of it is knowing Becky and Leah. That was part of it, but she was prepared. She had, gone through what I had sent her, and she asked the right question. It was just, the conversations just flowed. I mean, it was I guess chemistry is the only word I can think of between the two of us. And I mean, I've had chemistry with other podcasters, but yeah, that was a big part of it, and her preparation, and us knowing each other a little probably had something to do with it as well. It just flowed. It just flowed.
So Becky, tell us, how do you prepare for these meetings?
Well, the way I like to prepare, and this is something it's a teachable moment for sure, but typically a couple of days before the podcast is scheduled, whether the week prior or the weekend, I like to figure out what the topic is that we're talking about, and then talk with the guests. If they've got material they can send on the topic they want to speak about, that I can do some reading about it just so I have an idea of it. But it helps me to come up with the immediate questions, because probably 9 times out of 10, I don't know enough about what they're going to talk about. So it's very natural, the progress. And I ask them to help me form the questions, because when somebody's talking about their passion, it's easy to get the questions to help lead them. And then we come up with those questions, and then we make sure that we're putting together a flow in the conversation to make sure that we are covering the topics, that we are bringing, the listeners through the experience, through that conversation, the way anybody would. So Leah and I will talk after every pre-interview conversation, so that she and I can kind of go over the questions, because right now we're sharing hosting duties. Leah may be the interviewer sometimes, and I will be the interviewer sometimes. So, yeah, but that's it. But that's, I think the biggest way, one of the things that I love about the preparation is because it's not just about the business telling us something. There's a topic, there's a lesson, there's an explanation, there's a story. And every conversation is about learning something about somebody. And you get to see who they are, not just in a business sense, but who they are as a person. And that natural conversation, I think, is what really, you know, helps to make some, like Barry said, I'm so glad that we made him comfortable that way, because that is what I want this to be. I want it to be conversational. I want people to get excited to say, I'm going to go sit down and do a podcast interview, and I get to bring a cup of coffee, and we're just going to sit there and have a conversation. So I don't know how Leah feels about it, but I always say that to her too. Because I like everybody to know this is a true collaboration. I think that's what makes it work so well so early.
Very nice. Leah, anything else you want to add to that?
As far as preparing for interviews?
Yeah, how do you get ready for these podcasts?
Yeah, so well, first of all, like Becky said, ask what topic would be of interest for the person being interviewed to talk about. And then I just put that topic, honestly, to ChatGPT, and I ask it to produce podcast questions. And then I review that list and take out the questions I don't want until I get to 10. Might change them up a little bit, but yeah, I use ChatGPT to help with developing questions.
And Becky, you're laughing there.
Well, I'm the older one of the group, and it's funny how that's the other reason I'm loving this. It's why I love connecting with small business owners anyway, because there's a range. You have young and old and everybody in between, and technology is advanced, and now all of a sudden we're learning AI, and I'm really trying to embrace it. And Leah and Rebecca and Jennifer have been awesome to help me do that. I'm old school, so working with all these gadgets and apps and technology now, I'm like,
I have to be
definitely makes
reminded.
it,
I have to be
yeah,
reminded to use AI. Did you ask
ex
AI? I'm like, oh, geez.
exactly.
Uh,
And then I also wanted to make it clear that, in case it wasn't clear before, that Local Elevation is a resource available to any local business owners in the Bluffton area. It's not a requirement to be a member of the Holistic Chamber of Commerce to be a guest on the podcast. But it is offered, of course, to all of the members of the Holistic Chamber, but we also do interview folks that aren't a member of the Holistic Chamber.
Which brings me to my next question. What's the range of businesses you find yourself interviewing or reaching out to you to be interviewed?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so our first interview was with Rooted Living, Dr. Ambrose Cole, and then we also had Leslie Slemon. They all happen to be Holistic Chamber members, or most of them happen to be Holistic Chamber of Commerce members. But next we had Leslie Slemons of Peace by Peace and Peace by Rest to talk about her yoga and therapy and candles. And then next we have a realtor, and then we have like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu owner of May River BJJ. And we have like a whole list of different businesses, but those are the upcoming episodes that'll be released soon. Becky, are there any others that you wanted to share?
Yeah, I know that Kelly Osbaldison did an interview with us. That was great. I know Jessica Hooper sat down with us and talked about her business and mindfulness. And gosh, we've had a couple, of course, Barry was with us, and I had a really great time with that one too. And we've got more coming. I mean, we're booked up with our interviews already. We're into July with tapings. Now, I may be rearranging. I may take on some extra time to do some tapings because there's just so many folks that have so many great things to talk about, especially with the holistic community. I think, like we said, we're not just with the holistic community. Of course, we want to talk to every business. I think, it's some people may be a little nervous about public speaking, and I think we give them the opportunity to have a comfortable situation, but to learn how to be more confident in marketing themselves. I think that's a big thing with some small business owners.
Mhm.
So that's why I think our range is just anybody. If you have something interesting to talk about, if your business, whatever you're doing that comes from your heart and you have a passion for it, I want to talk to everybody, because I think that's what really, people want to do business with people they know, they trust, and they like. And I think we've got a wonderful community of small business owners, and everybody sees them in this small space. And we want to give them a big space and let their personalities come out and shine. So,
Mhm.
That's a great way of putting it. Yeah, I like that. Were you going to say something, Leah or Barry?
Well, I was just going to say that right now we're in the early stages of the podcast and we're learning about how to better produce it, have better audio quality, video quality. So those are all things that we're working through and that we're excited to learn more about. But so we appreciate everyone being patient with us as we work through all of those technical behind the scenes things. But yeah, we're just like really hoping to increase the listenership of the show just so that it has a bigger impact for all of the businesses that do an interview for Local Elevation, and also potentially have for more opportunities for them to advertise their businesses. So yeah,
Where do you do your interviews?
we do them. Oh, go ahead, Becky.
no, please.
Okay. I didn't want to keep on hogging the mic, but
No, please
so,
do.
so we've been recording at Jennifer Campa's chiropractic office, which is near Old Town. It's on Bruin Drive. Is it Bruin Drive or Road? But it's right next. We always get bagels from Sugary, so if you're familiar with Sugary, it's pretty close to that, to there. Yeah, and we usually try to get some snacks for the guests and for us before recording from there.
And is it like a studio type room, or do you set up with the microphone? How do you do that?
Yeah, so right now it's just an open room and we have a couch and we were using a single microphone on the table,
Mhm.
but the audio quality wasn't the best. So now we're using these little clip-on microphones
Mhm.
and we're hoping that the audio is improved from that.
Well,
Yeah.
and
You know,
go ahead.
what was cool for me was, although I've done, probably a dozen or so podcast interviews, this was the first one, actually it was the second one. The first one I did was live, but most of them have been on Zoom. So it's nice to have that more personal touch and do
Mhm.
it, in person instead of through Zoom. But yeah, it was a fun experience, and I would certainly encourage people to do this. I think you guys are doing something great with not only getting the message of the people in the Holistic Chamber out, but also other local businesses.
Yeah.
There's something about being in the same room and talking with each
E-
other that just gives it a different.
Exactly. You
Yeah.
can't have the same energy or vibe
Right.
when you're on Zoom as when you're there in person with each other.
Yep.
Mhm.
I think we've all
Yeah.
been zoomed out and recently.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Very good point. Very good point.
hmm And then the next question I have for you both is, how do people find you, or do you go find people? How does that work? How does somebody get on your podcast?
Yeah, both. If you wanted to speak about that, Becky.
Yeah, I listen, I love to network. I think networking, it's a lost art. People were really good at it, and then, we hit some really weird times, and I think it's a great thing to get back out there and introduce. So I'm all over the place. And if I've met you, I would love to get you on the podcast. I was just at the ribbon cutting ceremony today for iCryo, which was very nice, and ran into a couple of businesses. And actually, one of them is Zero Dark, and they're the gaming place, but they also have space for podcasts. So told them what I did and said, you're a new business, would love to get to know you guys. So, again, it's that, we may be able to help get the word out about them a little bit more, get to know them. And they have some space that maybe down the road, another strategic partnership comes up. So that's how I get to people. Certainly my number, you can reach me at, you can reach any of us on the Facebook page that we have for Local Elevation. I highly recommend our members, please support us and give us a like and share it with anybody that you'd like. And we have an email, localelevation@gmail.com, that you can reach us at. To be fair, I always give my personal email out on that too, because sometimes I don't check that other email enough. I admit to that. I'm getting better at it. But you can reach me at beckyholbert13@gmail.com. And Leah, I'm sure you can reach at Heartbold at leah@heartbold.com. And Facebook as well. And even if you don't know us, come up and introduce yourself to us. I love to meet new people. Share us, because maybe we can meet people that aren't members of the chamber, and we get to talk to them and we can tell them about the Holistic Chamber and the wonderful group that we have here. So it's just it's a really great community thing. I'm just really excited about it.
I can feel your passion about it too, which is so,
Yeah.
it just,
Yeah,
us is genuine. Yeah.
Well,
for sure.
I think you guys have a great idea with this. Excuse me. And I hope you are able to develop, the relationships and just expand it, because you're doing a good job. You've got your act together with it. It was fun. And, as you gain more followership, if that's the right word on this, I think you can be very, very successful with it. Yeah. Are you interested in doing businesses, outside of the, greater Hilton Head area or South Carolina, or, expanding, into other, other areas, other geographic areas with what you do?
That's funny that you mentioned that, Barry, because I'm actually looking at houses in West Virginia with my boyfriend, and might be moving out. Oh, I will be moving out here soon. And we talked about potentially having like a Local Elevation Charleston, West Virginia edition, and then kind of expanding the opportunity to other locations as well to follow a similar platform that we're starting to develop.
Very nice.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Very nice. Do you guys
Yeah,
have
that's why you say we just talked about this, yesterday, a couple of days ago, that, there's an opportunity, give somebody else the idea, almost franchising Local Elevation, so that they can bring this, there are people out there wanting to start things, but they don't know how to start. And what a great thing when you have a premise or an idea and you can make it what you want to, but it's all the same. I think it's the same heart. I'd love to see the holistic community start to do that in our different chapters, to be fair.
That'd be great. It's a good idea.
It is
Yeah.
a very good idea.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Can you share your screen so people can see what the Facebook page looks like or the YouTube page looks like? Do either one of you have
Yeah.
a window so they can have a visual?
Yeah, I'll just pull it up and then I'll share my screen.
And because we are local based, but that's why I say I don't know if Lee and I talk about this later, because here I am just spitballing things. And but if we don't talk to the National Holistic Chamber, maybe we can take our show, on the road, just to maybe do some interviews for the Holistic Chamber, so that they can be posted, so some of the members can get their information out.
So,
Sorry, I'm a little bit Taking a second to get this pulled up. But I also wanted to mention not only are we on Facebook, we're also on Instagram and LinkedIn. So you can find us at Local Elevation on all of those platforms. And then we do also have video content of each episode on YouTube. So that is also available.
But yeah, Kelly, I don't know, have you interviewed Kelly yet?
No, and definitely, oh, she just went,
I think
but
Kelly has
definitely,
connectivity issues though, it seems like sometimes.
oh, there she is.
Yeah.
But Kelly's somebody we really want to sit down and talk with because her business is really, it's not just a travel agent. She's into that sustainability and, you know, those vacations where you go and you go to a coffee farm and you stay there and learn it, you know. And I love that business. I love that idea. So I'm excited to get her on the
Yeah.
calendar and talk to her.
I would love to. Yeah. And I was just online signing up for a trip to go to Costa Rica to explore.
Maybe you might have to turn off your camera to make it less of a load on your.
There she goes. Yeah.
I know. The signal is so bad out here.
I deal with the same thing here.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've got too much growth around this area and cell phone service hasn't kept up with it. But no, but yeah, Katerina, we're excited to have Kelly on.
Good.
Yeah, I would love to.
Yeah, we learned a lot today about it, and it's just exciting. It's exciting to hear what's going on. Barry had a fantastic experience. He was telling us about that as well.
Awesome.
Yes, yeah, and you guys are working everything out too as you go through the experience, making it better.
Well, and it's interesting because I think it makes us stronger. You know, it just helps so many things. Like I love that this is something now that Leah and Rebecca are just doing it and learning so much. They're going to be able to help their clients. I mean, now all of a sudden they're, you know, expanding their toolkit and being helped to help others. So I think that's phenomenal. I think Leah and Rebecca both do an excellent job, and I'm excited to see them grow.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Becky.
Absolutely.
Same to you.
Kelly, do you have any questions that you want to have answered right now that they can address for you?
So I know you recorded it, so I'll definitely go back and watch the recording. I guess, you know, I was just really to see like how the process works and like, you know, setting up the podcast and, you know, how you feel that process has been. So yeah, I'm just excited to hear about it. I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, and what Barry's explained to us earlier is that what made it so good too is that it's a local in-person interview. And it's not an interview, it's a conversation really. And it just made it more comfortable and easier to talk about your subject matter.
Sorry, but I just wanted to
Oh, you're starting to
share this.
Yay!
Okay.
So here's the Facebook page. Katerina, before you came on, Kelly asked me to pull it up, and I finally got my computer to cooperate.
Tell us who's in the picture.
I'm sorry, what's that?
Who's in the picture right here?
So Becky is on the left, and then I am next to Becky, and then Jennifer Campa is the owner of the chiropractic office where we record, and then Rebecca Welch is a big part of our team as well that does a lot of the back end stuff, including the videography. She directed this photograph to be taken. She did this cover thing for our Facebook page. She does a lot of stuff. So she's great.
Well,
awesome. I love that.
You only got 71 followers. That's fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah.
It took me forever to build up my local, not my local, my law office following.
Yeah. And she created all these pages. And so she's been doing an awesome job promoting and getting us out there.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we just ask if you're member out there, just give us a like and give us a follow, and
I
because
just
you
did.
will be on it one of these days.
I
And
just gave you a follow because I'm on YouTube. I follow you guys on YouTube. I didn't know that there was a Facebook page. So
Yeah.
cool.
well,
Yeah, and then
Katarina,
also
oh, sorry.
and then also just a reminder again, Instagram and LinkedIn as well.
Oh, that's right.
We're on those platforms. Yep.
Thank
And
you.
Katarina, I'd like to get you on the calendar because I'm fascinated with the work that you do. You are not just an attorney. You are heart, your business is a heart attorney. You do great work, and I'd love for people to understand what you do.
Yeah, I connect with people's genealogy. It's really cool what I do. I love what I do.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for asking.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And then I would, back to your question, Katarina, about how, if we find people or people find us, we've also had people reach out to us via our Facebook page to be interviewed. So that is another way you can reach us to be interviewed if you don't have our emails or, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just going to keep that in mind as I go to local businesses. If you want to be spotlighted on a podcast, you have to reach out to these two.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or your whole team, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Very nice. I love it.
Well, thanks so much for having us come on and share information about local elevation and how folks of the Holistic Chamber, as well as any other local businesses in the area, can showcase their business.
Great. And now I got to do some housekeeping.
Yep.
Because Karen's like, you got to tell them this. We're doing like that. I don't know if you've gotten those membership notifications that we're offering people to pay up a whole year in advance, and it saves you $30 to pay for the whole year in advance before the fees go up on May 1st. I believe it's May 1st. It says lock in your rate. Members can purchase an annual package for $100 a year. If paid by April 30th of this year, you save $20 off what we've been paying. Otherwise, you can choose the 15 after May 1st, it goes to $15 a month, 100, or you can do 150 a year, saving you $30 every year on the new rates. And just as a reminder, first visits are always free. If they'd like to come check us out again, it's $20, and that's about it. I just want to make sure people know that that's changing May 1st. Yeah.
Great.
Yes.
Great.
It's a great community. It's really grown beautifully, and it just keeps growing.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to see our growth over the next year for sure.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right.
Great.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah.
Well, thanks.
Thank you.
We'll see everybody next time.
All right. Take care. Have
All
a great
right.
evening.
Bye.
Thanks.
Bye.
Have a good evening. Bye-bye.
Bye.